You think we're gonna beat all these games?
It's the BOYSLOCKE Show!
That's where he belongs. Right up there at the top.
So, we are finishing up the Rocket Underground here. And we're gonna, I believe this is an executive fight that we're gonna face off with here.
And they're just like a better
Oh no, it's
rocket.
just a grunt. There's an executive, the executive must be inside of here.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Good thing we let off with Barbara. I actually didn't know what we were gonna be up against. This works out wonderfully.
It's really cool, this underground song.
Ding dom dee dee ding dom, that one.
They actually use like two, when that theme isn't happening, they use two of the bo-doo-doo, and it's like two violins that are slightly out of tune.
Yeah.
And then it drops out because they can only do so many sounds
At a time.
once when they do the melody, but it's just a really cool effect. Makes it very creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, he knew what he was doing. Junichi Masuda. Speaking of early Pokemon devs, I was thinking about something really interesting. So, the guy who is basically credited with coming up with the concept of Pokemon is Satoshi Tajiri.
Okay.
He was the director of the original Pokemon games, and I believe Gen 2 as well. And his inspiration in like interviews and stuff has been cited as a little kid, he loved catching bugs. And like keeping them and looking at them really close. What does this do? I don't remember that. Interesting. And so I've always wondered if bug type Pokemon were his favorite for that reason. Because, you know, the first trainers that you encounter are
always bug trainers.
catchers.
Yep.
And
they're kids.
They're always kids, yeah. And then in Pokemon Red and Blue, some of the first Pokemon you see are bug Pokemon. And then also something that I thought was interesting is psychic types are the most powerful in the game, right? They're like super overpowered. They're almost kind of like legendary just by being psychic in the first generation. And like not legendary in the sense that we know, but like in the context of the game. They're like this kind of like mythical creature. And the only thing that's good against Psychic in Gen 1 is Bug. And I wonder, since it seems super arbitrary, if that was decided by Satoshi Tajiri because he really likes bugs. And like, oh, my bugs that I like are going to be the one thing that's good against these really strong Psychic Pokemon. And that just never occurred to me before.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a constant point of contention, like why is Psychic weak against Bug? It makes no sense. And I wonder if that's why.
That's really interesting.
I've been thinking about that. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. It's not a theory that I've heard.
So are you...
I don't know if other people have come to that same theory.
So this might be your theory.
But yeah.
I like it.
I haven't heard it from anyone else. Yeah, it seems plausible.
Like it makes, like there's no leaps of logic.
Yeah.
To like to say it's possible.
Well, and there's no other more sensible reason.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody come up with a sensible reason why bugs would be good against mind powers.
Yeah, there's nothing in like the, you know, it's not like the Chinese elements where there's like all these lines of, you know, like, oh, you know, Earth.
Yeah.
Is traditionally thought of to be the counter to this, and this is the counter to this, and
yeah, I mean, I guess there could be some like Japanese folklore of some kind that we're not aware of. Yeah, that dictates it. But yeah, everything else is super obvious.
And does he say that in interviews, or where's the?
I don't know if he's ever been asked about that. I mean, I haven't read every Satoshi Tajiri interview that's out there.
That's a soda.
What are you tasting, Vaughn?
Tasting. Is it black raspberry?
Yeah, black raspberry.
Man.
Yeah, Harmony Springs has been killing it lately. They're a new brand at Blue Sun, and we have been venturing across their flavors because they have a lot.
Just all of a sudden, they just had.
Yeah, like we walked into Blue Sun one day, and this company had like 12 flavors on the shelf. So we're working our way through because the first couple have been really good. So we're excited to taste the rest.
Did I ever talk about how I know Scyther is my favorite?
No, I don't know if you did.
So,
how you know?
Yeah,
like or like when you decided
why it's definitive. Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
can I have another sip of that?
Oh yeah, story? You can. The peach one. It's Austin Simp and a peach one is absolutely solid.
2 flavors, 1 brand.
So when I'm playing a game, like my favorite kind of, so I have a soft spot for things like Shadow of the Colossus 2, where it's like you versus just this Titan, right? Mm-hmm. And what are we getting rid of? Or what are we learning?
We're learning Slash, and I'm debating if I should get rid of Quick Attack or not. Because Quick Attack
is he fast?
He's very fast.
He's very fast.
He's going to be faster than most things. So we might not need Quick Attack, and then we would get more power and a high crit ratio. So I think it's safe to get rid of Quick Attack. Because Quick Attack is 40 base power and Slash is 70 plus high crit ratio.
Okay.
So are you cool with that?
I'm cool with that, yeah.
Okay.
If he's that fast, and I think he is, then
yeah.
He won't need to
he's
really
not,
use that.
There are things that will outspeed him, but he's faster than probably 80 to 85% of the Pokemon that we're going to run into.
Okay.
So, cool. Continue your Scyther story.
So I do have a soft spot for like being like a insect facing off against a Titan, you know, where you're just like
literally an insect, or just like a David versus Goliath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like Shadow of the Colossus, it's you versus these demigods.
Yeah.
And you're just a guy with a sword and a bow and a horse.
Yeah.
Like that's inherently cool to me. But my favorite kind of thing is when it's you as like a bye bye. When it's you as like a normal humanoid kind of sized thing fighting a very similar thing, like another humanoid sized thing of like equal ability. And so it's like a very, where you're fighting like a peer. That's like my favorite kind of fight, where it's like it could go either way. And like where it's
2 equally matched.
And so whenever I'm playing like Smash, I always gravitate towards sword characters because swords are also really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I almost exclusively.
Any male who says they don't like
phone is exploding.
Swords is just lying.
God. Yeah. So swords are inherently cool. So Scyther is like roughly humanoid size and has swords literally attached to his body. So that's really cool.
Yeah, he's like 4'11".
But then he is almost, I would if I were to imagine myself as a Pokemon.
You were tuned into all of these concepts as a kid?
Well,
like about what
I'm just
kind
like
of
thinking back as to why he became my favorite. I don't think that these were like conscious things.
Okay.
But
you think as those things were developing as tastes, that's how it came to be?
And so I feel like I would imagine myself, if I were a Pokemon, I think I would be a Scyther, because those are attributes that I like, and that's the kind of style of fighting that I like, is like, oh, I am equally matched in abilities with whatever I'm facing off against.
Yeah.
So
that's where my excitement stems from.
Yeah. Like that's exciting as a concept. It's like, oh, it could really go either way, and it's just going to come down to execution on both of our parts. And so I just have to outperform you.
Yeah.
And like think one step ahead of you. Like that's an exciting kind of challenge. So I think those things all, like if I were a Pokemon, I would be Scyther, because he would be like roughly the same size as all the Pokemon on average, I feel like, besides like the really small ones.
I mean,
like Goldeen or
there's some people bringing the, I mean, that's a wide spectrum.
Yeah.
There's some absolutely
he's like in the middle though.
He's in the middle. Yes.
So on average, I feel like he would, like if he comes up against a Kabutops or a Hitmonchan, he's going to be their size.
Yeah.
And so that, like those kinds of fights of like 2 equal sized Pokemon who are like really skilled in like some sort of fighting, it would seem really cool as a kid to me. And so I think I would always pick Scyther because he has freaking swords on his arms.
Yeah.
But so then I know that
Edward Scyther arms.
And it was like it was an unconscious choice where like there was these things where like every December people would in like high school, people would change their profile picture
Oh
for
yeah.
the month.
I don't know how that became a thing, but apparently that's a
But
thing.
yeah, December was always the month where you'd change your profile picture to a Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I would just find really cool pictures of Scyther. And that
Like
would be
fan art?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Of him just looking like sick. And then I would, yeah. Yeah, he's badass to me.
He's cool, man. Did you ever get into Scyther, or did you think that he was not cool?
Don't think I thought he was as cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he was a very bandwagon Pokemon
To think was cool.
in Gen 2, yeah.
Okay.
We ain't
Okay.
scared. We ain't scared at all.
That's a vicious animation, though.
Yeah, it is. Rocket Grunt was defeated. I'm done for. Boys got mun.
And it's interesting because I also am not like the biggest fan of insects.
I like bugs.
Though, it's like he's still like the clear favorite. It's just kind of interesting how tastes. I don't know.
So was there like a specific moment where you were like, yeah, he's my favorite?
I mean, or
was it like the first time you
when
saw
I
him?
saw him?
Yeah.
Like when I saw him
Love at first sight.
facing us, like facing like
Like you mean
to
you
be caught.
You saw him like on someone's screen?
yeah. When I saw him, not as my Pokemon, but as the other person's Pokemon.
Yeah.
Where
You're
it
like,
was a
whoa,
wild.
that's the coolest one.
Yeah, I was like, wow, he's sick.
That was definitely part of the appeal of Scyther for me. It was like he was rare and he was hard to catch because any Safari Zone Pokemon was hard to catch. And then he was like compounded on top of that because you had to be in a specific area of the Safari Zone. And as a kid, you know, you didn't have like you couldn't look up a map unless
Yeah.
you bought the guide.
Or percentages of.
And you had to like remember how to get to that area with enough steps left to run around and try to find one. And it was like exhilarating when he came across the screen. You're like, oh yes, Scyther.
Yep.
But like you still weren't even there yet. You had to like throw bait and like rocks and fuck
Yep.
around and hope that he didn't like run away or whatever. God, it was horrible. Safari Zone was tough.
Yeah.
We are almost done now.
Wait, so are we back at the tower now?
We're back at the radio tower,
Okay.
yes. While you were reminiscing about Scyther, we got to the end of the Rocket Underground and talked to the director. He gave us the card key, and then we like went up a staircase, and then we were in the basement of the department store.
Okay.
It's Snake.
Snake. you know what I've been remembering lately? It's me, Snakes.
Dude, I'm always thinking about that. Like pretty much anytime I see Andy, we have to go through that whole scene together. I know I heard that name Snakes before.
God, it's
AC
just funny.
said 10%. Oh, we froze Oddish with Tri Attack.
Wow,
How about that?
and almost killed him.
Yeah.
I just find it so funny that they made that for the movie. Like that's beautiful. Like it's not just
I feel like it was
Copy,
I
paste.
feel like it was a consensus.
Yeah.
When you saw that movie when it came out, that oh yeah, that's a real movie.
Yeah.
That they're referencing, and not they made up a movie for the movie.
That's just so cool that they did.
But they did such a
'Cause
good
it's so-
job.
it's perfect.
That people were
It is so
convinced.
perfect.
Yeah, it really is perfect because it's like an exaggeration.
you?
Tell you what I'm gonna give you, Snakes. I'm gonna give you till the count of 3 to get your ugly, yellow, no good key syrup or whatever my property before I pump your guts full of lead. All right, Johnny, I'm sorry. I'm going. But all the stuff leading up to that is so good though, because he comes in, he says, AC said you had some dough for me. Is that a fact? How much do I owe you? AC said 10%.
AC ain't in charge no
AC ain't in charge no more. And he gives him this look, and he's like, he's upstairs taking a bath. I'll call you when he gets out. And like as a kid, you don't realize that means he's like fucking shot up
Yeah.
in the tub.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, he's upstairs taking a bath. It's very clever how they like don't use any swear words,
Yeah.
and they don't say the word kill or shoot. Like everything is like a euphemism or an expression. But it's actually super like morose
Yep.
and scary. But they very choice with their words.
But my Tommy gun don't.
But my Tommy gun don't. And his freaking laugh is insane.
Yeah, I believe you.
I believe you. Yeah. And then how they were able to rehash the same bit in the second movie, and it was still funny. Home Alone, man.
Yeah.
So good. All right, so we got 2 executive fights here, and then we're done. We're gonna dance on this Arbok. At least these have like somewhat competitive Pokemon.
Yeah. Like decent leveled.
Yeah, they're much higher level than the other grunts.
And a Magnemite.
Yeah. Rap. Nice job.
Good job.
Goodbye, wannabe Wixie.
Arbok's still pretty cool.
Oh, Arbok is really cool, man. The poison. I still feel bad for poison type Pokemon. They get totally shafted.
Yeah, they kind of do.
They made them better, but they're still like, I feel like they're still a cut below every other type. Like every type.
Especially when you have so many grass Pokemon that can just cross into.
Yeah, there's so much overlap.
And do better.
Yeah, there's so much overlap. And yeah, I guess I may just be too out of touch with the metagame, and maybe Fairy is really powerful and Poison type is really useful. But yeah, I feel like you just throw Sludge Bomb on somebody else with a high attack stat, then bother to bring a stab Pokemon.
Stab poison.
Yeah. But yeah, who knows? I don't think there's any like uber tier Pokemon that are poison type. But it's a cool
Though they're all cool though.
Like, yeah, I think they're cool. Like
cool
I always thought Koga was really cool. Like how he's kind of like a sneaky like criminal ninja that wants to, I don't know, poison everybody.
Yeah.
All right, this is the last fight. So after we beat this guy, the radio signal to the Lake of Rage goes away, and Team Rocket officially disbands for the second time. Ooh, that's our first Houndour. He looks cool.
He does look cool. Does he have like a mask on his head?
Yeah, it's like a skull. Oh. Like a skull on his head. Should be able to dance on this guy. Wonder if he has a Houndoom too.
Is that the evolution?
Yes. This shouldn't hurt too bad because of Rain Dance. Yeah.
I don't know that I know this Pokemon.
He's pretty cool.
He looks cool.
We're actually allowed to use it.
Is it normal?
No, it's dark and fire.
Okay.
But we're not allowed to get it until, or I should say we're not able to get it until after the Elite Four.
Is Poochyena Gen 3?
Gen 3, yes. There's Houndoom.
That's the dark dog thing I'm thinking of.
Yeah. So he's pretty cool looking.
I used the crap out of that Pokemon in Sapphire.
Mightyena?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah, Poochyena's.
Yes.
Poochyena, if you prefer. Well, we didn't get to see Houndoom for very long because we wrecked him with that thunder, but...
It looked really cool.
Yeah, he was cool. He was cool while he was there.
Do you have a rib cage of bones on the exterior?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then he has the, like, devil horns, which I'm surprised made it to America. I think in the later generations when they had sprite art differences for gender, I think only the male has the horns, which is pretty cool. I like when they have really stark contrast in the gender of the Pokemon. Just makes it seem more realistic. They went crazy with that in, like, Gen 4.
Is it still where females are just always worse?
That's only in Generation 2.
It's only in Gen 2.
They fixed it after this.
Okay. I like that it's different, but I prefer like the specialization of like, oh, you could have a female, like in Fire Emblem, you could have a female character who's really powerful because they're just like faster.
Right.
And whereas they're not as strong.
Right, they're specialized in certain areas.
Yeah. Whereas you could have like the same class as a male, and they might not be as fast or skillful.
We have to, because this is Crystal version, we also have to go to Tin Tower before we can go to the last town.
Tin Tower.
Yes, Tin Tower is where Ho-Oh...
Sounds like you're saying tent. So you could be saying tent hour?
Yes, we're going to
a power hour.
A camping marathon.
Yeah, come join us.
Pledge drive. No, we have to go to Tin Tower.
Tin Tower, the metal.
Which is where Ho-Oh roosts. And in Crystal version, you are forced to encounter Suicune there.
Oh, okay.
And I think we're going to have to kill Suicune because I don't think you can run from it or anything. So we'll make sure we bring Mangy Meat.
Is that going to be next week?
Yeah, sure, we can do that next week. Next week on the show, we'll head over to Ekrutik, I think it is. Head up to 10 Tower. Take care of some more side stuff that is required. I guess it's not side stuff. And then we'll be heading to the Ice Path. And it'll be time for a new capture. So that's exciting.
That is exciting.
And we will see you then. Until then, hop on the Discord for some naming incentives. Tell us what you want us to name our Pokemon. And then we will see you on Monday.
Monday for
more XG2. The extreme racing game for Monday Bonday. And we'll be back
game.
on Wednesday with Steven for some more Mario 3 as we get closer and closer to the end.
Yes. And yeah, check out all the stuff. Subscribe everywhere. Follow, like,
Don't miss a thing.
comment.
Aerosmith.
Yes.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.